Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving into what is, without a doubt, cryptography's absolute greatest historical cold case. We're talking about the Voynich Manuscript. It's this deeply mysterious 240-page medieval text that has completely baffled the brightest minds on the planet. I mean, it has defied every single attempt to uncover its secrets. This isn't just a puzzle, you know? It's like a locked door that history simply threw away the key for.
For over 600 years, experts have tried to decode a mysterious book written in an unknown language, but no one has conclusively succeeded. Just let that sink in for a second. We live in an era where we can peer into the very edges of the universe. We can split the atom. Yet the greatest minds, the absolute most brilliant codebreakers to ever live, have completely failed to read a single page of this text. It is honestly staggering to think about.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. The book nobody can read.
When we say nobody can read this thing, we literally mean nobody. Not a historian, not a linguist, not an elite military codebreaker. It has been an unbreakable mystery for 6 entire centuries. And we know exactly how old it is, too, because modern radiocarbon dating of the animal skin parchment places its creation precisely in the early 15th century, right between 1404 and 1438. Through all the rise and fall of empires since then, this text, written in an entirely unknown language, has just kept its mouth shut.
Moving on to Section 2. Clues in the pages.
So think of this as our official crime scene investigation. When detectives arrive at a scene, they obviously look at the physical evidence, right? Well, the physical timeline for the modern world begins in 1912. That's when a Polish book dealer named Wilfred Voynich discovered, or actually purchased, this bizarre artifact at a Jesuit college in Italy. The very fact that this physical object was found, made of real materials that someone in the 1400s deliberately put together, roots this incredibly wild mystery in reality. But pretty much the second Voynich opened it, it became abundantly clear that this was no ordinary book.
So, what are we actually looking at here? The evidence within the pages is absolutely baffling. First off, you've got these illustrations of bizarre plants. Botanists have stared at these drawings for decades, and they look like strange chimeras. Roots from one species kind of haphazardly attached to the leaves and flowers of another, representing flora that literally does not exist on planet Earth. Then you've got these incredibly strange astronomical and zodiac charts featuring tiny naked women bathing in these interconnected pools of green liquid. And binding the whole shebang together is the text itself. It's an entirely unknown written language with its own unique alphabet and syntax that matches absolutely nothing in recorded human history.
Which brings us to Section 3. 6 centuries of failure.
The story of this manuscript is essentially a story of intense obsession and absolute defeat. Generation after generation of elite codebreakers threw their absolute best techniques at it only to walk away totally empty-handed. And we aren't just talking about amateurs in their basements here. Legendary cryptographers, including William Friedman, the guy who cracked Japan's seemingly unbreakable purple cipher during World War II, spent decades studying this thing. He and his teams completely struck out. It's just a continuous, unbroken streak of brilliant people hitting a massive brick wall, stretching all the way from its creation to the modern attempts happening today.
Let's take a look at the suspects. Section 4. The leading theories.
Since nobody can actually read the book, the best we can do is come up with theories. If we can't crack the code, maybe we can figure out the motive behind why someone made it. But before we dive into the main theories, let's just make sure we're all on the exact same page with our terminology here. A cipher is a secret or disguised way of writing. It's a code. A cipher isn't a brand new language, it is a known language hiding behind a mathematical or logical mask. Keep that distinction in the back of your mind because it is super important for understanding one of the biggest theories.
All right, so there are 3 highly plausible explanations for what this book actually is. Number 1, it's a completely lost language. Perhaps a highly localized dialect spoken by a small isolated group of people that was completely wiped out, leaving this one manuscript as the sole surviving record. Number 2, it's an elaborate, brilliant hoax. Some historians strongly suspect it was a 16th century forgery created specifically to con wealthy royals. Guys like Emperor Rudolph II, who just absolutely loved collecting strange alchemical oddities. Someone with a lot of time on their hands might have just created a masterpiece of pure gibberish to sell it for a fortune. And number 3, it's a ciphered scientific text. Underneath all those weird symbols is actual valuable knowledge, maybe forbidden alchemy, maybe medicine, locked away in a code to protect it from the authorities or rival scientists of the time.
Fast forward to today. Section 5. AI meets the manuscript. Now, what's really interesting about this is how we've brought the investigation into the modern era. We've introduced our absolute most advanced tools into this ancient mystery. We are way past just relying on human eyes and paper. We've fed this manuscript into supercomputers, using advanced natural language processing and statistical frequency analysis to hunt for hidden syntax and linguistic patterns that are completely invisible to the human eye. But the result? Modern AI has also completely failed to decode it. Analog human intuition and cutting-edge machine learning have yielded the exact same result: zero conclusive answers. Even machines capable of finding patterns in pure chaos have found nothing conclusive here.
And honestly, that is exactly why this remains one of history's greatest puzzles. So why does all this matter? Well, we live in an age where we literally have all the world's knowledge right in our pockets. We can pull out our phones and translate languages in real time. We really feel like we've completely mastered information. Yet this manuscript proves that the past can absolutely still keep its secrets. It humbles us, doesn't it? Reminding us that no matter how incredibly advanced we get, there are still profound mysteries staring us right in the face that we simply cannot solve.
So I leave you with this. Will the voynich code ever be broken, or is the joke on us? Are we destined to one day find the key that unlocks a hidden treasure trove of lost medieval knowledge? Or has humanity spent 6 centuries agonizing over a brilliant, meaningless prank? It is such a fascinating question to ponder. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.